All right, so after you get to the house and you empty the skimmer basket, make sure there's no leaves in there. Check the water level, start the hose if you need to. I like to put the hose directly into the skimmer box. This way, the cold water is going right back to the heater and getting heated pretty quickly. And then also I like to start the pool cleaning robot as well, so that thing can start getting the bottom of the pool clean. So, well, this is going to be a video about primarily the chemicals and balancing the water. So, the first thing you're going to do is grab yourself a test strip. Test this water. Just go down, you know, about a foot if you can. Swirl it around. And after a few seconds, you're going to want to match this up against the bottle to see what the colors match. So what I see is the pH is a little bit low. We want to get that to be a brighter orange. And also the hardness could be decreased. And then it could use a little more chlorine, which we're going to add chlorine pucks and shock to account for. So the first bucket here, these are our chlorine, 3-inch chlorine tablets. And these go inside this floating chemical holder. And so you'll see there's a few in there. I like to fill this all the way to the top, as long as this lid can close and lock. So we're gonna try to throw 1 or 2 in there. Open these up, drop it in. Close this up, make sure it's locked, and then you can set it back inside the pool. If chlorine levels are really low, you can also take a chlorine tablet and put it into the skimmer basket. This is the skimmer basket. You want to make sure the leaves are emptied out of here first, but if you really want to increase the chlorine levels, you can put a puck or 2 right inside this basket. This way water's circulating through here and more chlorine is going into the water. And then just gently set this back down in so the pucks don't fall out. On the floater itself, there's also an adjustment where you can open and close it a little bit more on the bottom. Typically we just leave that open so we get a decent amount of chlorine in the water. So these are actually the same chemical here, calcium hypochlorite. So this is also called shock. And so if your chlorine levels are low and the water looks a little foggy, you're going to want to put a couple scoops of this into the water. This pool is about 20,000 to 25,000 gallons. You could do the math and figure out exactly how much needs to go in, but I usually do about 2 scoops when the water is not looking very clear. And so when you do this, you want to make sure you're not spilling anything around the edge, because this can stain the fiberglass. And then when you put this in, you want to try to disperse it pretty well. It's really good to run the cleaning robot, while you're doing chemicals, so the robot also skims the bottom of the pool and helps disperse the chemicals. Next one is going to be pH increaser. And based on the testing strip, we saw the pH levels were low. And so this one's not as important as the chlorine levels and the shock, but we do want to keep our pH balanced so the other chemicals can do their job. So same thing, just try to get this spread across the water pretty well. And I'll typically put about 2 scoops of a pH increaser in as well. And that's pretty much it. Okay. All these chemicals are stored in the shed, typically. And just make sure they're closed and the shed is locked so no one can get into them. That's not authorized to do so.